Just so you know, Squeaks is not watching and is not interested in the nuke video. I don't even give a shit if people watch a nuke video, brother. It is pretty crazy that Asmongold watched that fucking Ethan Klein video. Asmon asserts that Nazis burned down Magnus Hirschfeld Institute of Sexology in 1933, not because it was a safe space for queer people, but because it was written in Jewish, not German. Wait, what?
It's a bit of a like, my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German.
Wow. Hasan is actually just so petty. This guy goes around interviewing Houthi pirates and showing straight extremist propaganda on his stream. Then, when people have the audacity to react and take seriously a video from Ethan Klein that criticizes him for doing those completely criticizable things, he gets all offended and petty and will find anything he can to try and make you look stupid to his audience so he can try and save face for himself. Just like he did here with Asmongold, when the guy clearly just misworded his phrasing. But Hasan doesn't care about that. This is his moment to snap back. In fact, he wasted no time at all to clip Asmongold in a response because he stumbled on his wording when addressing the Nazi book burnings by saying the reason was because they were written in Jewish, which, sure, is hilarious. But his core point was obvious, that they were written by Jewish authors, which is literally the primary reason behind the burnings. But that doesn't matter to Hasan. He got his chance to laugh at Asmongold and try to belittle his intelligence so he can try and nullify his response. So he took it. But honestly, the petty snapback doesn't even make a whole lot of sense when Hasan literally said day one that the video came out that he didn't care if people watched it, and he thinks that the content will speak for itself. Well, now that the content has indeed spoken for itself, and the damage control has failed, Hasan seems to be changing his tune. Alright, let's take a quick look at how he got here.
This was a funny take, but Fossabot timed you out. Just so you know, Squeaks is not watching and is not interested in the nuke video. I don't even give a shit if people watch a nuke video, brother. I think it speaks for itself that more people are, dunking on it and clowning on it than taking it seriously. Like, oh my God, this is the most serious thing.
I held off on watching it for a while because I didn't want to have any unsubstantiated claims or anything like that. It's a big video. Ethan's been putting this out for a while. And guys, promises made, promises kept. I said I was going to watch it. Here we are.
See, this is where it all started. Hasan gave the permission to the public that he didn't care if they watched the video that Ethan Klein made. Now watch as Hasan runs for the clip chimps of Asmon so he could try to make him look bad to his audience because he watched the video that Hasan apparently had no problem with people watching. But now that Asmon and his community are roasting him for it in his chat, he all of a sudden has a problem with it. And as Hasan always does, he decides to start clicking the clip chimps from his chat so he could laugh at Asmongold and try to nullify any criticism he has received. This is all happening, mind you, while Hasan is watching some video essay sucking off Guevara, talking about how he's actually not a bad guy and that he's been taken out of context by history. Or, as Hasan calls it, clip chimped by history. I gotta say, watching this video and drawing parallels between himself and Shay is the most on-brand Hasan shit I have ever seen.
Are you pro-sex operations is so dangerous regardless of your views? Pro-sex operations. You got to do an operation to get some sex, chatter. Yes, I'm pro-sex.
Bad considering Fidel Castro felt the need to issue an apology for this dark period in Cuban history, saying, "If anyone is responsible, it's me." The dreaded UMAP system ran from November 1965 to July of 1968. 3 years too long, if you ask me. But again, this video is not about the Cuban state. It's about Che Guevara. So, what was he doing during this time? Oh yeah, He left Cuba 3 months before the UMAPs were established. In a farewell letter to Fidel, written by Che on April 1st, 1965, he says, "I formally resign my positions in the leadership of the party, my post as minister, my rank of commander, and my Cuban citizenship. Nothing legally binds me to Cuba. The only ties are of another nature, those that cannot be broken, as can appointments to posts." Che died 2 years after writing this in 1967, and the UMAPs ended in 1968. During their runtime, Che was in Congo, and then Bolivia, and then he was killed. He had nothing to do with them. Now, could Che have done more to stick up for LGBT rights in Cuba, especially during a period of machismo and ignorance towards gay people? Yeah, I'm sure he could have, and that would have been cool as f. But again, this was the 1960s. That doesn't make it right. Homophobia was never right, but apart from a single homophobic passage written when he was in his early 20s, he was 24, Che was not this raging homophobe who rounded up gay people and threw them into camps or killed them. That just isn't true. In summary, in his youth, Che wrote racist and homophobic.
This is a really important lesson. Okay? This is a really important lesson in never posting, especially if you're a leftist, because anything you ever fucking say, they clip chimp motherfuckers, dude. They clip chimp motherfuckers in perpetuity, okay? They'll do this to you literally like half of a century later. They'll still be like running the hits. It is so crazy. To this day, this dude is getting clip chimped for his old takes.
Aw, no, Che Guevara and Hasan keep getting clip chimped. And everyone just wants to make them look bad. Now watch as Hasan clip chimps Asmon literally minutes later. You really just can't make this shit up.
It's wild, man. What have we learned today? We learned that the biggest crime of all time is being a leftist, okay? That's it. That's the number one crime. Nothing else. Nothing else comes anywhere near that crime. And it is the absolute worst crime of all, okay? You still get clipped for America Deserved? I know. And when they don't have anything, okay? When they can't even find anything, they just make shit up. Okay? They just make shit up about you. They'll just be like, "Oh, well, he said something homophobic, so he generated the gays." Oh, okay. Got it.
Things. It's not uncommon to meet people who hate Che and the Cuban government for anecdotal reasons. I have people close to me who lived in Cuba under Fidel, and they really loved him.
You can be a communist without being woke and defend homophobe Castro? What? Okay, shut up. Take a day off.
But that's why we don't use anecdotes and we stick to empiricism. History is not made up of great, infallible people. It's made up of people reacting to their environments. And
I'm still learning about your brothel experience, and see, that's a great example. I've always been pro-sex work, dated sex workers, openly talked about going to a legal brothel in fucking 2010, and motherfuckers still talk about how the brothel was raided. Yeah, it was. 6 years after I went to the fucking brothel. You're such a pathetically unserious person. One of the main people that love spreading this, by the way, Sex Pestiny, aside from engaging in a litany of sex crimes, okay, both alleged and some that are currently being prosecuted, okay. Asman asserts that Nazis burned down Magnus Hirschfeld Institute of Sexology in 1933, not because it was a safe space for queer people, but because it was written in Jewish, not German. Wait, what?
The Nazis burned books on gender sciences.
They did do that.
First. Now the administration has villainized and marginalized migrant workers, trans.
It's a bit of a like my understanding is that they burned them not because it was gender stuff, but because it was written in Jewish and not German.
there is literally no reason to fucking go to school, study political science, spend years and years of trying to understand how politics works, the importance of learning history. I'm not an elitist by any means. I think anybody can do this. This is a fucking silly ass job. It is just crazy that like what is declared good enough in terms of political commentary on the right wing side of things. That's crazy. Hey, congratulations to the DigiGears, okay? DigiGears, you did it. #1 political commentator on the platform. Still going, by the way. All the DigiGears. You did it. You did it. You wanted someone to have a different perspective reflected on the platform for diversity of opinion. I hope you're happy with that.
Okay, the written in Jewish part is kind of funny, I gotta admit. But his core point is correct. They were written by Jewish authors. The content was often irrelevant. They just happened to see the content as degenerate as well. They seen Jewish authors' material as un-German, essentially saying that Jewish authors were a threat to German purity.
Written in Jewish. What does that even mean?
And it was like a retaking of Germany for Germans. That was like the uprising of...
No, it was because they were fucking anti-trans. What kind of conversation is this? No, the Nazis also happen to be anti-trans. Okay? Which is not surprising, considering how many people in this chat are going, based. Damn, Nazis, based. Nazi W. Gotta give them that, bro.
The Nazis. So it was like, yeah, they were.
No, the books were written in German. Okay, I don't think they were written in Jewish, which I don't know what he means by that. Does he mean like Hebrew or Yiddish? Because it definitely wasn't Hebrew.
I think it probably might be both in some circumstances, but like it was categorical for it not being written in German. They also burned porn. Yeah, they burned a lot of stuff. It was both, yeah. And no, a lot. And I wish people like this. It's disappointing that you can't have genuine conversations because people try to just like kind of, like.
Huh. Isn't it a bit weird that Hasan cut off Asmongold right there? Did it not seem like Asmongold was getting to something? Well, let's see what Hasan cut off.
And no, a lot. And I wish people like this. It's disappointing that you can't have genuine conversations because people try to just like kind of, like handpick facts and like not talk about things in an honest way. But it's like part of that's true, but it's like not completely true.
Interesting. I wonder why he would cut that part off right there and then immediately go to some Wikipedia article that he thinks proves his point. Anyway, I guess let's have Hasan cook. Maybe he has a point.
Here's the page directly talking about the first book burnings. Yeah. Magnus Hirschfeld's Institute for Sexualwissenschaft, Institute of Sex Research. The library included many thousands of volumes on sexuality and other matters relating to its work. The Institute also had a substantial collection of objects, photographs, documents, research, biographies, and patient records. Estimates of total sizes vary. It was, I think, at the time, one of the largest collection of like research, medical research for queer people, trans people in general, gay people. The looted materials was witnessed by the international press being loaded onto a truck, and on the 10th of May, it was taken to the Bebelplatz Square at the State Opera and burned them along with volumes from elsewhere. A total of over 25,000 volumes of un-German books were burned, thereby ushering in an era of uncompromising state censorship. In many university towns, national students marched in torches lit parades against the un-German spirit. The scripted rituals of this night were called for high Nazi officials, professors, rectors, and student leaders to address the participants and spectators. At the meeting places, students threw the pillaged banned books into the bonfires in a great, joyous ceremony.
Weird. You know, that sounds exactly like what Asmongold said. Weird. But yeah, Asmon said written in Jewish. Ha ha. Mind you, that the guy that just clip-chimped Asmon has this to say about people that are taking him out of context.
Just watch the video. Just watch the video. Why can't he have a conversation with me? Why? Is it perhaps easier to clip things that I'm saying out of context in my reaction? Yeah. Is that why? So that he can shelter his audience? Is that the reason why?
God, dude, Hasan is just such an unserious snake of a person. It says multiple times right there that the books were burned because they were un-German, which is exactly Asmongold's point. When Asmongold said they were written in Jewish, he clearly meant they were written by Jewish people. Holy f***. Hasan loves to be a disingenuous little rat if he thinks it'll help him escape criticism.
Joseph Goebbels said, "The era of extreme Jewish intellectualism is now at an end. The breakthrough of the German Revolution has again cleared the way on the German path. The future German man will not just be a man of books, but a man of character. It is to this end that we want to educate you as a young person to already have the courage to face the pitiless glare, to overcome the fear of death, and to regain respect for death. This is the task of this young generation." Is blah, 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 blah. It is pretty crazy that Asmongold watched that fucking Ethan Klein video, and then his chat kept coming in here to be like, "You're anti-Semitic terrorism lover. You should be banned. Why aren't you banned yet?" Meanwhile, his fucking chat's going based Nazis. But hey, no, wait. That's what a lot of my naysayers wanted, though. They wanted someone with a diversity of opinion on the platform.
Blah, blah, blah. Are you sure you want to talk about how Asmongold's community is saying crazy shit? I'm really not so sure you want to die on that hill, bro. Because literally anybody has to do is look at your chat during any of your controversial statements, and you're going to see the most crazy shit. For instance, just look at one of Hasan's videos on that guy that killed the pharma CEO. Just look at his chat when he's talking about it. His chat was saying the most heinous shit. So when this guy tries to have a leg to stand on and talk about Asmongold community, just realize that he's moral grandstanding about something that his community is super famous for.
What is most demoralizing is that my normie friends are like, "Yeah, man, that's awful. Anyway, these are college-educated resistance libs. They are just opportunists. They want to advance their careers. Some of them are naturally conservative. Some of them basically lean into that kind of politics. Like, what's the difference between Asmongold and Matt Walsh? Asmongold doesn't fully believe the things that he's saying, but he knows that it's like getting him a lot of views, so he's saying them, right? Matt Walsh does believe the shit that he's saying. How long till riots? I doubt that riots will happen in this country. We are very sedated. We are a servile people. We fancy ourselves to be revolutionary people, but we are very docile people, I think.
Yeah, Asmongold just says shit that he says for views, and Hasan is a completely serious person that hasn't turned being a communist online into a multi-million-dollar career. But yeah, Asmongold is just a grifter. Go off, queen. You know, I truly don't think I know a person more unserious than Hasan. The fact that we have a guy like this poisoning the mind of the youth on Twitch is actually a big problem. Like, how do they take this guy seriously? That is just guilty of everything he criticizes other people for. Those guys clearly can look past anything for the sake of a parasocial relationship they have with a multi-millionaire trying to act like he relates to the poors. Couldn't be me. Alright guys, I said my bit. I hope you guys liked the video, and if you did, hit that like button and subscribe. And if you want to watch more content like this, YouTube thinks you're going to like this video right here.